Good morning, everybody. We want to welcome you to today's January webinar, kicking off 2026 with a great topic. It's just a focus on Lightspeed tips and tricks. And we've got a lot to cover today, so we'll go to the next slide. I want to just talk about Q&A. Many of you know our repeat webinar attendees, so thanks again for taking the time to attend. And just a reminder, anytime throughout the webinar today at the bottom, there's a Q&A button, so feel free to type in your questions and we'll answer those throughout the webinar, and then we'll also allow some time at the end for Q&A. And today we have also Brian Tierney on who will help answer questions because Josh is going to be our primary presenter. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Josh so he can do a short introduction. So thanks, Josh.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you all for being here today. As Diana stated, my name is Josh Farrell. I'm a software solutions engineer for Lightspeed. I've been with the company since 2020. Super excited to go over the information that we've got today with you. But I wanted to start with a quote. So 2026 is going to be a year of recovery for a lot of us. It's also going to be a year of growth, hopefully for all of us. And this quote by Mark Hunter states, it's not about having the right opportunities, but handling the opportunities right. So how can we do that? Well, we're going to cover a few items today that might be able to help you take care or take advantage of those opportunities. We're going to talk about inventory control. We're going to jump into the service department and talk about a few power tips and some scheduling items there. We'll jump into the parts department and talk about a few opportunities that we have to improve on the behind the scenes. And then we'll jump into sales, go through some quick wins, and then that Q&A that was discussed earlier. So we're talking about inventory control. We need to start talking about daily efficiencies. One of those efficiencies is ensuring that our major unit inventory does not get old on us. No one wants to buy a birthday cake, candles, and celebrate a birthday for a unit. And we have a desktop widget that will allow you to monitor that inventory age along with some custom reporting. One of the custom reports is major unit inventory by age, and you can schedule those reports. Now here in a few, I'm going to jump into Lightspeed and I'll show you how to schedule those reports, but please note that those reports can be run for you so that you don't have to worry about remembering to run those reports. A couple of other items in inventory control that we can talk about is parts custom reporting, such as the exception report. The exception report allows us to see parts that we have a negative quantity on hand. If I have any parts managers on the call, I'm sure your stomach just turned over or you got a little bit sick there. This is something that we cannot happen if we're going to be efficient in our parts department. The next one, the big O word, obsolescence. No one likes obsolescence parts. And unfortunately, in 92% of the dealerships across the United States, we do have quite a significant amount of obsolete parts in our inventory. We have reports for that. And to piggyback with that, we have months no sale, so we can get in front of those obsolescence and make sure that we're moving those parts effectively. Now, when we jump to the service department, we really want to talk about the ability to check in customers with our mobile application. Now, you may not be utilizing the mobile application today, but I will, and there will be challenges at the end, challenge you to utilize that. Now, a couple of cool features that we do have is a driver's license scanning tool. Now, when you go to check in your customer, you can simply ask them for their driver's license, flip it over, scan the back of the barcode, and it'll pull in the information. Now, what's cool about that too is it's going to search your database to see if that customer is an existing customer in your system. So no longer do we have to add multiple customers, and we'll get to how we can clean up those multiple customers in a bit. But we also have the ability to do video and photos at check-in. Last but not least, we do have a electronic signature capability within the mobile application. So while the customer is there, or if you're checking the unit in and you want to get that prior authorization, you do have that capability. Now, a couple of other things that we can talk about when we're talking about cleaning up our service department is giving us the opportunity to be able to utilize statuses and categories. Now, if you've ever been through a demo with myself or my co-part Brian Tierney here, we like to talk about those categories and those statuses. And last but not least is the service scheduler. The service scheduler gives you the opportunity to not only help dispatch work to technicians, but if they're utilizing the mobile application, there should be no guesswork. There should be no, hey, what do I work on next? We have the functionality and the capability to do that. Now I'm going to jump into Lightspeed and we're just going to talk about a few of those things. We're going to jump into estimates and repair orders, and we're going to talk about those statuses and categories. So as you can see in the center portion of our estimates and repair order screen, we have RO statuses. These are hard coded. They can be customized with color, but they represent what's going on inside the repair order. So as you can see here, Linda Smith, the top customer here, we have an RO status of ready to work. That would mean there is a labor line on the repair order job, and we're ready to dispatch that to a technician. However, inside the dealership, we have built repair order categories. This category says WIP Marine. At this dealership, that means that this unit has been dispatched. This repair order has been dispatched to a technician. So without ever having to jump into the repair order, we have the capability of seeing from a 3,000-foot view what's going on inside the RO. If the customer was to call, because I'm certain that there are customers calling you today in your service department wanting an update, we no longer have to take a message and get them to the proper service writer. We actually can give them an update that says, hey, looks like this one's been dispatched to a technician. Your service writer, by the way, that's over here on the far right-hand side of this on these columns, will reach back out to you as soon as there's another update. Now, we briefly discussed the calendar as well. And we have had some previous webinars on calendar, so I don't want to jump too far into it, but please note that you do have the capability, whether you did know this or not, to schedule repair orders, which if I click the View ROs button, represents the estimates and repair order screen that we were just looking at. I can sort this by job status. I can sort this by service writer or those categories. Now, as you can see here on the right-hand side, we do have a busy day here at the service department. As you can see, we have 2 technicians and myself. We have plenty of jobs and a lot of other follow-ups going on, including, but not limited to, we do have a technician that will be taking off the rest of the day. Which brings me to my next point, guys. This is a global calendar. So as you can see here, Tristan, our technician at our store, is going to be off at 3 p.m. today. It's global, so anyone that has Tristan on their calendar will be able to see that he is off. Now, if we jump forward, we can talk about parts inventory. Parts inventory is what I would consider the backbone of your dealership. And I'm certain Brian, even though he's not on camera right now, is smiling as our local part expert. We do have barcoding and inventory updating. Guys, if you're not utilizing it right now, I would strongly suggest that you do. You have the capability with part labels to be able to create barcodes unique to your parts to your dealership. When you're doing a physical inventory, if you have multiple representatives in your parts department that have the mobile application downloaded, you would be able to do that physical inventory via the barcode scanning update. We also have multiple bin locations. We have custom reports for bin locations that can help you identify where parts are. We also have a custom report that shows no bin locations. Again, we can schedule those reports so that we can boost profits. Now I'm going to jump back into Lightspeed here because I do want to talk about those custom reporting. So I'm going to go up to parts. I'm going to go down to custom reports, and I'm going to go over to parts inventory. This is going to show you a list of all of the parts that we have, parts custom reports that we have in the system. And by the way, anything with a lock in the LS column, that's provided to you via Lightspeed. Anything that does not, well, we have the ability, and stick with me here, we have the ability to customize custom reports. I know that was a couple of customs, but we do have the ability to customize custom reports. So we were just talking about that no bin location report. Well, I have the capability of scheduling that as a parts manager to ensure that we don't have parts slip through the cracks where we don't know where they are. Now I can schedule that with the schedule button here in the upper right-hand corner. When I click on that, it's going to give me some schedule options where I can set up report options such as header or footers. And oh yeah, by the way, folks, those people with multiple stores in the same database, you can run this for all of your stores. When I click the next button, it's going to give us the opportunity to set up when it's going to run and how repetitive it will be. Now, I'm not going to finish scheduling this report today, but at the same point in time, I do want you all to realize if that's something that you have not been doing, you should. Now, when those reports are ran and they have been scheduled and they are ran, it's going to show up in our task viewer, which is the gear down in the lower right-hand corner next to the 2 little people for our instant messaging chat. In order to run the report or view the report once it's been scheduled and ran, all I have to do is click on the hyperlink. It will open up that report and it will show me all the information in which that I need to see, including, as you can see here, our exception report. Now, we briefly talked about this earlier, but this is going to show you anything where your margin isn't a negative, where your quantity isn't a negative, or in the event that you do not have a sales category associated with it. And those of you that are currently utilizing Lightspeed, that are using our accounting module, know that if you don't have a sales category, those accounting transactions are just hanging out there in limbo. So now we're going to jump back to our set here, and we're going to talk about our CRM. Now, another thing in which, or another item in which that you can be utilizing in Lightspeed is the CRM. It's located inside the database. You do not have to go anywhere in order to use it. You can set up status alerts, right? So when a sales deal status changes, you can get alerted to that. You can have delivery coordination. So we talked about the calendar. One of the things that I have seen a few dealerships use that are extremely efficient when it comes to delivery on units is scheduling those deliveries with the customer. And oh yeah, by the way, you can do that and show up on the calendar. And let's not forget, we do get system alerts when it comes to the calendar as well. So those individual users can be notified on the mobile application if you've got a delivery specialist that this is the next delivery that is done. We have CRM-driven messaging. We can target specific customers, whether it via email or text. We do have the capability to target those customers. And it saves the time for the staff. We do have automated messages that can go out to customers. So while they are doing what it is that they need to do, in this case in sales, selling, we can have automated messages. Think about it being two places in once. And last but not least, all of this is going to help you boost your customer satisfaction. And in today's world where our customers can go pretty much anywhere to get their next unit, we want to make sure that we are taking care of them in a timely fashion to build that retention. Now, we do have something that is all new that I am going to show here in just a moment, and that is the Lightspeed Insights Salesperson Insights Hub. It's all new. We do have the capability to utilize it for follow-up tracking. We can identify stalled deals. As you can see on the right-hand side, we do have a pipeline. And again, I'm going to jump to Lightspeed to show you that. But again, we're here to improve the customer's experience because we have been proven time and time again that our customers, as long as they have a great experience, they're going to come back and they're going to utilize you again and again. That Sales Insights Hub is here underneath sales. It's at the very top, Salesperson Insights. And again, it's going to give you the ability to see your pipeline. What's happening based off of your stages? What kind of revenue do we have potentially out there that we do not have closed? And by the way, guys, we do have custom reporting that will be able to show you how long those units have been or those sales deals have been in stages so that you have the capability to see that. Along with that, if I scroll down just a bit, we do have our follow-up. So I can see what I've got to do today. With a simple click, I can see what outbound call I need to make to the customer. Or if I wanted to see what I might have missed, I can click on that as well, and it'll take me in and show me the phone call that I need to make. Last but not least, guys, we do have the capability to look into the crystal ball and see into the future. We can see any future appointments, calls, texts, anything that we need to make. I can simply click in and I can see that, and I have the capability, excuse me, the capability to see what we have going on in the future. And again, that's an all new product. If you haven't, I would highly recommend that you view that. Now, we talked about it earlier. How do we improve our dealership? How do we improve efficiency? And how do we improve that customer experience? One of those things that you can do is merge your customers. As you can see on the right here, we've got a customer list out of our demo database. And as you can see, we've got plenty of Bill Smiths, we've got plenty of Joe Smiths, John Smiths, so on and so forth. Well, chances are some of these could be the same customer. And when you're doing a mobile check-in, whether you're creating a new sales deal, whether you're selling parts, it can be quite confusing on which customer you need to select. We do have a customer merge tool that will allow you to merge those customers all into one so that all of the sales history, all of their units, and anything in between will be stored underneath one customer file. This is going to boost efficiency because if you've ever written service before, or if you've ever sold a part, and you have multiple customers in the same realm that are listed out as different customers, you then have to slow down and ask a few qualifying questions to figure out which is the right one. And we all know that we do not want to select the wrong one in the event that we do and we sell parts to the wrong customer or service. We're going to have to answer some questions on the accounting side later on down the line. Now, we've talked about reporting. We've talked about scheduling reporting. Here are a few examples of the reports in which that you can schedule for your customers, or sorry, for your dealership. And really, in all reality, share it by role, not just by department. So a few examples for advisors. Schedule the open repair orders, maybe your aging repair orders, or maybe your outstanding repair orders with parts. Maybe our technicians are having too much coffee time in the morning. And if I have any techs on the call, I do apologize. This is not a direct shot at you. But as a previous service manager, I've had to deal with coffee time. Having the ability to see or have those reports scheduled on a daily basis gives us the ability to see what is sitting out there that may be out of sight and out of mind. For the parts department, we've already talked about it already, the exception report and the month's no sale reports. Let's get out in front of that. Let's make sure that our inventory is accurate. There is nothing worse as a parts manager than having a parts counter person not trust the inventory. Last but not least, if you're not tracking lost sales, I highly recommend that you do that. Inside of Lightspeed, if I jump back into Lightspeed really quickly, we go into a parts invoice. There is a section here where you can fill out for lost sale. That's that LST column. That is an item that does not often get used, and I can assure you that in the event that you're looking for inventory accuracy and looking to turn those customers that go down the street to buy a part or maybe buy it online into customers that are going to buy it because you have it right then and right there, this lost sale will give you that opportunity and that capability. And for sales, made unit inventory by age, right? Giving us the opportunity to make sure that we're not celebrating birthdays. I'll be the first one to tell you, I didn't get this girlish figure by missing out on birthday cake, but I can assure you as a dealership manager, there is nothing worse. Outstanding deposits. This is a report that often gets overlooked as well. Units on hold, somewhat similar. And then last but not least, inventory margin reports. That way we can ensure that when we're building a sales deal, we do have the capability of developing and creating a positive world where our salespeople don't have to worry about this being just another mini deal. We have that capability to be able to see that right inside of Lightspeed. Now, where does it start? It all starts with you. What are you going to do to make a difference? And what are you going to do to utilize the tools in which that you have currently, or maybe if you're a prospecting customer of Lightspeed, something that you may be thinking about making the jump. These are a few of the things and a few of the challenges that I would have for you, for your team to implement. The customer merge tool. When is the last time that you looked at that? When's the last time that you merge your customers? How often do you have the ability to jump into your customer list and not see 13 Joe Smiths? Your RO categories, what's being used and what's not. Guys, you have the capability to go in and clean up those RO categories and utilize them to help drive efficiencies in your service department. Utilizing the mobile check-in as well. It's a powerful tool, but if you're not using it, it's just another tool in the toolbox that just sits there. Reviewing the Sales Insights Hub daily. As a manager, you'll have the capability of drilling down and going in and seeing individual records for your salespeople. For your salespeople, challenge them to move deals through that pipeline. Now, it's okay if the deal is dead, right? We can mark that as inactive, and we have the ability to follow up with those customers with our automated follow-up chains at a later date. However, if they're sitting there, they're out of sight, out of mind, and they're slipping through the cracks. Schedule one automated report. Now, I showed you there's a schedule button in the upper right-hand corner of custom reports, and you can schedule a ton of them. But schedule one. Find one that you feel will make a difference for your dealership and schedule it. You will be amazed at how often the old adage, and I don't remember who said this, but you can't expect what you don't inspect. If you expect your parts department, your parts inventory to be clean, or you expect your obsolete number to be less than it was 6 months ago, schedule that report. And last but not least, and I can't drive this home enough, I'm extremely passionate about our CRM product, but enforce note logging inside of CRM. What happened? When did it happen? Why did it happen? And then what are we going to do in order to ensure that if it's a negative, that it doesn't happen again? So that being said, guys, we're going to jump into our Q&A at this time. I greatly appreciate your time. I know that was a ton of information to cover in a short amount of time, but hopefully it hits home and hopefully you all will have a better 2026.
Yeah, thank you, Josh. That's awesome. I love the quick wins for 2026. And I know that Brian's been busy answering questions. So we'll have Brian, you're going to turn your camera back on and come on too. One question I know that Brian answered, but maybe you can just navigate for people to see is where do people actually find the customer merge tool? So if you want to maybe, Josh, just go back into Lightspeed and walk somebody through that because it's a great one. And then Brian, I know you answered some other questions on that too. So feel free to jump in there as well.
You bet.
Yeah, guys. So we're going to go up to the top, the gray bar, the word system, that scary word system where all of the crazy changes can happen. We're going to go down to tools, and it's the first one there, the customer merge tool. Now, when you click into it, it's going to say, hey, we're going to search for duplicate customers. And for some of your databases, this could take a little bit of time. Guys, I used to be a trainer with Lightspeed before I jumped over on this side of the street. And I can assure you, there were times in which this ran for up to 12 hours. Now, that was a lot. However, as you can see here in our demo database, these are the customers that we have the capability of merging. You also have the ability to match specific customers on specific criteria. Brian, were there any questions directly that we could answer while we've got this up?
On the merge tool, there was a question regarding making a selection. If you've got, let's say, 3 different Linda Smiths, and I want one of the 3 Linda Smiths to be my main record. And I know that there are some limitations in the way that works today. Lightspeed generally picks by default the best match, but there are some ways that the dealer can ensure that the data that gets merged and saved is accurate and current. And a lot of that has to do with just going into the customer list and maybe, manually looking through the different records to see which address, which phone number, which detail actually applies. So if there's a concern that the merge result is not going to be quite what you'd hoped for, you do have a little bit of control in navigating what that looks like prior to going through the merge process. And I just want to emphasize one other detail about the merge tool. We'll just use Linda Smith as our guinea pig here. And maybe Linda has bought multiple products from our parts department, and over the course of a year we used Linda Smith number 1, and then another time we used Linda Smith number 2 and Linda Smith number 3, and so there's purchase history for all 3 Linda Smiths. Well, it's the same Linda Smith, and sometimes the concern is, am I going to lose some of that sales history if I do the merge tool? Well, the answer is no. All of that history across the 3 different individual records will be merged into one, so you retain all that history as though it was always one Linda Smith to begin with. So important to know. The merge tool is one of my favorite elements. Now, I'm a little bit biased because I used to work in the support team years ago. And if anybody remembers the old Lightspeed NXT system, back in those days, you'd have to call the support team and have me merge your customers for you. But now with the merge tool on the front end, saves you the trouble of having to call support to do it. So I'm a little biased in that regard.
Right. And there's another question that just kind of came in on this too. And I know that we've had this before, but it's like, Lightspeed is looking for the exact way the name was entered. If one was in all caps and one's in lowercase, it does not do a great job of finding those matches. So I don't know. I don't believe there's a workaround for that, but it is back to unfortunately, customer entry of your data should have a standardized process for your company.
There's a couple of things. Go ahead, Josh. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, as Brian stated, as you all can see on my screen, there are hyperlinks with customer numbers. You guys would have the capability of going in and matching that up so that it would show and being able to merge those customers. Sorry, Brian.
Yeah, based upon the customer number instead of how the name was typed, if upper or lower case is what you're referring to, Josh, correct?
Yeah, so let's say that they matched with their home phone number and their email and their address. Yep. If you had those criteria selected, which these are those check boxes up at the top, it would then show and you would be able to go in and merge those customers and or jump into the hyperlinks into the customer file itself and make those edits as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's time consuming, no doubt, when you've got, multiple records and trying to merge them all. But certainly cleans up your database for the long haul and sets you up for success. So it's, it's one of those tasks. I'm like, it can be overwhelming, but it's like, I'll start with the top, A through C and start chipping your way through it month by month too. Yeah. And Brian, were you going to add anything else on that too?
I was just going to say, and I think Josh pointed out the fact that you can select the different boxes across the top. Does the last
Yeah.
name match? Does the first name match? And then sometimes the first and last name matches, but for whatever reason, the phone numbers don't match. So if you uncheck that box, well, you may find some matches that you wouldn't have found otherwise because we've got the wrong phone number or mismatched on phones. So there's some creative ways you can use those boxes to find your matches, but I would encourage you to try all those things. Um, at best, it's going to merge the majority of your customers, and there might be a few that it misses just based on spelling errors or
Right.
context. But it's a tremendous time saver nonetheless.
Yeah. No, those are
Absolutely.
awesome tips. I mean, and it's like, again, back to these quick wins, kind of like how you get your data cleaned up because it makes you get better results in the system.
Yeah.
There was another question coming into here.
Accounts
Well,
receivable.
one you'd answered, Brian, already that I was looking at. Now I've lost it, of course. Oh, scheduled reports. Lots of
Hmm.
questions just on scheduled reports. What can be scheduled? How long are they scheduled for? Where do I find them? So maybe just dig into that a little bit more as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So jumping back into our customer reports list for inventory, and guys, I went into parts specifically, but if I go to system, I can go to all custom reports as well. And as long as I have security access to do so, I'll be able to see every single report. And you will notice a common theme in whether I'm in parts inventory custom reports or the all custom reports list. That schedule button in the upper right-hand corner is there. Now, again, I'll bring that back up just so we can kind of look at it here. But if I was to go in and I was to look at this, I can schedule this for a specific run time and a reoccurrence time, and then the repetition, how often that I want it to happen. Maybe it's a report that you only need once a month and you only want to look at it on Mondays. Maybe it's a report that is a once a month and you want to see it on the 30th day of the month to ensure, or maybe the 27th day of the month to ensure your month end is proper. Or if it's one of those that we just need to see once a year, we have the capability within Lightspeed to schedule that as well. And don't forget, those pop up down in this gear in the lower right hand corner of the screen. And again, I'll click on it so that you can see the reports in which that I have either run or scheduled in this database. And there is that hyperlink where I can go in and open it up. Hopefully that answers that question.
Yeah, I think
I'm gonna
was that all of them, Brian? There was one other piece of that too, I think. So,
Yeah, I'm going to add some additional context to that.
yeah.
So, Josh is absolutely right. The task viewer is going to hold all of your scheduled reports, but it holds it for 7 days. So what'll happen is you may schedule some reports to run, say, Sunday night. Maybe you come in Monday morning to the office, you forgot to pull those from your task viewer. No problem. We can pick them up on Tuesday or Wednesday. But if you don't get them within 7 days, they will drop off of that task viewer so that it's not loaded with a bunch of nonsense that maybe doesn't apply anymore. Now, the other thing to consider in this context is, Josh, maybe if you'll navigate from system, let's go to lists and let's go to scheduled tasks. So it's about halfway down the menu.
Yes, sir.
This is if you ever decide, I've scheduled these 14 reports, but I don't need them anymore, or I need to change the schedule interval. This screen is where you can go and you can see all of your reports, all your communications that you've scheduled, and you can change the scheduling. So right now, this schedule or this list is blank because we don't have anything scheduled. But if we did, you'd see all those reports there, and you can move it from running on Sunday night to Monday night, or run it from month end to year end, or whatever you want to do. So it gives you the ability to make changes or remove something from the scheduled task list completely if you want to. So it's worth noting.
That's awesome. And that's actually one of the questions that just came in, Brian. So you're reading the future of these people. And it's like, because it said, where do the scheduled reports get saved? And here's your master list of all of those. And then there was still another question on it too. If I want to have a single report, but I have two different cadences, like I want it to run weekly and I want it to run monthly, you basically have to create two tasks, correct?
Yeah, yeah. So if you want
Yep.
it to run multiple times, you may have to create a duplicate of the report. One runs on
Yes.
time X and one runs on time Y, but certainly could do those things.
Yep.
Yep.
No, great input. One other question too, people are really interested in the salesperson insight hub. So I wonder, like, people are like, how do I see it? Where do I have access to? And I know, Brian, you answered that question, but maybe we can just kind of share that with everybody as well.
Sure. So a
Yeah,
couple
guys.
things. Go ahead, Josh.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
couple things to consider is Salesperson Insights is only visible to people that are listed in the salesperson list. So if you're not a salesperson, then one thing is you're going to be able to see that selection in the sales menu, chances are, but when you load it, it just gives you a message that says you don't have permission to see it. Now, Josh has taken us to in the software where salespeople live. So you've got sales list salespeople. Now, this is a little bit redundant, and I'm going to speak on behalf of all dealers when I say that. But you may know that in the security profile for all of your staff members, there is the ability to create there's a checkbox to make somebody a salesperson. That box needs to be checked, and then you need to go to Sales List Salespeople, open up this menu, and make sure that your name, if you want to see that Insight Hub, is listed here. And if it's not, click the New button, find your name in the drop-down list, and your name will be in the drop-down list because somebody has made you a salesperson in security, hence the redundancy. You've got to be a salesperson in two places. Once you've done that, save. Now your Insights Hub will be visible to you. Now, of course, the detail that's on that is going to be related to follow-ups and statuses and stages within the deal, the leads, quotes, and deals screen, but those are all things to consider. Now, one of the questions we got in the chat regarding Insights Hub was, can I see more information? Is there a way I can see other people's insights? If I'm a manager, can I see my staff? Well, today, no. This is the first iteration of our new dashboard tools, our new dashboard solutions. It's kind of a teaser, if you will, of what's to come, providing you a little bit of a more modern view of some dashboard and analytical tools. It is browser-based within our platform, so it moves faster. It's a little quicker, it's a little flashier, it's a little more modern looking. And the vision that we have with Lightspeed is over the course of the next few months, we're going to be adding new dashboards, including manager dashboards, so that managers have the ability to oversee what's going on the sales floor, among some other things. Lots of great things coming in 2026. Buckle up, folks. It's going to be an amazing ride in 2026.
Yeah, I would just add to that too for the Lightspeed Insight Hubs, even like the setup and the security. If you actually go into our help files and into the tech knowledge, there's a great document in there to tell you exactly where you need to go to make sure that you've got all your setup done correctly so that you have access to view the Salesperson Insight Hub. So something that's, and more to come. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be holding to my values as a Lightspeed employee if I didn't talk to that Get Help button here in the upper right-hand corner. Guys, if you're not utilizing the Get Help button in the upper right-hand corner, you're not doing it right. If you click on that Get Help button, it's going to open up a web page and it's going to take you into your landing page, which will be specific to your dealership. And just a couple of things to focus on, guys. The Knowledge Center, as Diana was just speaking to, if I needed to know how to do anything in Lightspeed, including that new Insights Hub and how to set it up, I would click on the Knowledge Center. For anyone that may need to know how to contact support, this is a great way. There is actually a button that you can click to contact support, and your sales account rep information is here. So often I hear from existing clients, well, I'm not sure who to reach out to. Click on the Get Help button in the upper right-hand corner. It'll take you to it.
No, that's awesome. And like I said, and the Knowledge Center has such a great search capability. I mean, if you go into that and type in a word, you can find so many things. So, and there are new tech knowledge entries created every single day by our tech support team. You know, a dealer calls in, has a question, and if it's not in our database, they create that. So it is an actively changing, updated, live kind of answer for all of your questions. So go there and you'll find a lot of super helpful information. Couple other questions too. I know we're running a little over time, but there's a lot of great questions out here. Let me go back to one more scheduled report one, because I love that there's so many questions about that, because what it's telling me is people aren't really utilizing that functionality, and it's a huge time saver. They're wondering if there's a way to export it to email. So if I've scheduled a report, can I get it in my inbox?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yay, you guys jinx. You guys have the same answers.
Yeah, so I'm going to open up that exception report really quickly. And guys, I want to talk about, and for those of you that have ever heard my voice before, maybe in a VILT class or maybe in a demo or a previous webinar, you're going to hear me talk about this cute little envelope with a cute little star. So that gives you the capability, if your communication accounts are set up, you can actually email this out of Lightspeed and send it directly to whomever in which that you need to. By clicking that, it will bring up the email box and you will be able to send it. You can carbon copy or blind carbon copy anyone that you so choose. As you can see here, it is attached so that you can send that out.
Great.
Sorry, Brian, didn't mean to cut you off, man.
That's perfect. You nailed it.
Yeah.
I'm going to address another question that I just saw come in
Perfect.
into the chat there, and it's related to processes. It's related to where should we really start? Now, if you look at any of our documentation, how-to stuff, best practices, and the question that I'm answering is, do we need to start our sales process with a lead? Our best practices and documentation would suggest that, but the truth is you don't have to. If you're starting as a quote, and it sounds like based on the question you are, that's perfectly fine. There isn't any protocol that says every deal needs to start as a lead. In fact, there's no protocol that says it needs to start as a quote. You could start a deal right off the bat. So I love that question. And if you're concerned, maybe does the Insights Hub, does reporting, does anything in terms of just visual accuracy get somehow presented in an incorrect fashion if you do it a different way? No, it flows just fine whatever direction you choose.
Yep. That's a great answer too. One more question, even on scheduled reports, you guys. Can you schedule a CSV report that will automatically run, every time?
Schedule a CSV report. That's a great question. We may have to take that one offline.
Yeah.
By default, the reports run as PDF. Almost every single report can be exported as CSV, but the CSV selection is part of the preview and save process. It's not necessarily tied into scheduling, but there are some exceptions to that. So I may take that and answer that question offline with some more details and context.
I know I've heard that before too. So it's like, people want to be able to manipulate the data, which is obviously easier in Excel than it is in a PDF. So a couple ways that can work. So thanks, Brian. I don't know. Maybe we'll just do one more question too. Back to parts and similar and smaller parts, like looking at quick ways to change bin locations for a large number of parts.
We'll let the resident part expert take that one.
There are a couple of ways to do it. One, obviously, the painful way is line by line, part number by part number. And you can use a report to reference to go in one by one. However, there is some mass updating tools available. Now, this is a really data sensitive area of the program and is often controlled by permission. So you may not even know this thing exists. And it's also interesting to note that it is not in the parts navigation. If you go to System, top of your screen there, Josh, and come down to Tools or Data Updating. I want to say, let's go to Data Updating. This is in Parts Inventory Update. The Parts Inventory Update is a tool that's designed to do make changes to inventory en masse. So if we wanted to take everything that's in bin location A and move it to bin location B with a simple design and a press of a button, Parts Inventory Update allows for those things. Now, this gets into some complexity that we probably don't have time to cover in today's meeting, but if you'd like some more information on how to do a mass update for bin locations or how to take a swath of items and change bin locations, Part Inventory Update is your solution. So again, permissions. The other thing about Part Inventory Update is it has to be done after hours. Everybody has to be out of the system, and only one person, the one that's running the show here, can be in the system. So there are some things to consider. And the other thing is things can get really messed up really fast with Parts Inventory Update. So be very careful on what you're updating. And we'd love to kind of walk you through this and hold your hand from a support element before you attempt this.
Yeah, great answer. And I think that, there is obviously more questions out here that we won't get to, but I love even your response there, Brian. Like some of these are so specific to your dealership that we strongly encourage you, again, call into tech support. And those are things that they can walk you through and make sure you're doing it correctly. You don't want to mess up any of your data along the way. And that's what they're there to do, to help you make sure that you get those done correctly. Any other comments, Josh or Brian, that you want to add?
No, thank you all so much for being here today.
It's
been a great time.
Yeah, thanks for the quick tips. We love it. Thanks, Josh. There's so many good things that people can get for just take a few steps and make some improvements in your system, and you'll see the results from those very quickly. And the presentation and the PowerPoint will be available kind of in about the next 24 hours. So you'll see those out on our website, and you'll see also the on-demand webinar will be out on YouTube. So if you want to share with others in your organization, it's a great way to do that. And just a quick reminder too, we have another webinar coming up on February 12th. I don't know if any of you saw the first reports part 1, which was done with Brian and Mark Sheffield and Brian Lucas from the accounting guys. We're doing a part 2 of that. So they're a longer, more intense webinar that really focuses in on how you can get the most out of your reports within Lightspeed. So encourage you, if you haven't looked at those, to register and attend those. And of course, we've got many more coming up as well. So thanks everybody for your time today, and hope you guys have a great day. Thanks.
Thanks everybody.
Take care, everyone.